Mimi had every right to say no. We were sick. It took a lot of. It was rough. I could see why my mom said no. And my biological dad was not in the picture. It's looking good. Thank you. It's going to be a very, very beautiful piece when I'm done with it. But at the end of the day, were you adopted? Yeah, by my grandparents. At the end of the day, it could be a lot worse. And I really am grateful for what I got. Like, it could have been a lot worse. So I can't really complain too much. I want to say I was spoiled, but I was definitely well taken care of. And everyone like just says Mimi raised you bad. Mimi did this. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. My mother is a loving mother who has raised 5 kids of her own, plus raising me and Danny. She has 14 grandchildren. She still works full time. She's 72. She thinks about everyone. She doesn't think about herself. She's been a very, very hard worker. So she's done a lot. And she still does a lot. And I'm very grateful to call her my mom, basically. Don't really call her my grandma. That's good. They were there for you. You know, thank God. I can't imagine working at that age. Me neither. Your life has been a cakewalk compared to most. I can't say that I was in the worst situation. I'm not saying I'm the only one that's, no. Everyone has a story. But I feel like you just have to break that cycle. Even though it's trauma, you can't really bring it to the next chapter in your life. You have to just do better and want to do better. Do you have contact with your bio mom? I do. Yeah. You should send her on vacation. We just sent my mom to Italy. Blah, 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 blah. I can't talk. Who are you? Marissa. I don't know. Whoops. Literally act like She's the one who lived it. Wait, what? She seems to know her whole life story. Me? I'm just telling what I was told. But I do remember when my dad was out of jail, he came over to like our house one day. No, Marissa. Oh, and we put makeup on his face. He looked like a clown that day. And then remember my biological dad when he was in jail. I gotta ask Danny about those letters. I think she still has them. But if she does, I want her to send it to me. But my dad wrote hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of letters in prison. And I remember that he would say, I miss you girls, I love you, I'm sorry, I wish I was there for you, just know your dad loves you. And he read the Bible in prison, and he still had the Bible. You could tell that it had notes and highlights, and it was used. I mean, used, like falling apart basically. And he got right with God. And before he died, it was like when my son was born, and it was kind of getting like back into touch with him. Danny was more closer to him than I was. I hated my dad for the longest time. I had no respect for him. And Brian always said, come on, Gabby. And I remember I would say, get the fuck away from me. I would push him away. I would say, don't call me. I would block him. I hated him. And Danny's like, come on, Gabby, come on. Just give Brian a chance. He loves you. Yeah, he loves drugs, or he loves me more. Anyway, and then when C was born, he reached out again, and we read it down for camps. Addiction is an illness. I wish I could look closer. Oh, cool. You're using my stepbrother's name and picture. Nice. That's cool. And so he got to see Cam on FaceTime. And he told me, he said, Gabby, you're saved, right? And I said, yes, Dad, I am saved. He's like, are you sure? I worry about you. I'm like, yes, Dad. I was baptized. I asked God to come in my heart and forgive me. And so my dad said that the Lord's coming back very soon, Gabby. And you need to get right with God. And he kept saying that the world's going to, I can't remember what he said word for word, but he said that the world's gonna, the mark of the beast. And he was just saying a lot of things. And that we're living in the book of Revelation. And that life is going to be very, very hard in the upcoming years. And, but he's right. And I knew that. And then a few months later, he died. I wonder if God sent him to me that day because God wanted to call him home. So before God called him home, I think God wanted me to That's what I believe. It's okay. It's sad he wasn't able to heal. I know. He was only 40. That's wonderful. He was in jail your whole life. Pretty much, yeah. There were some moments where he was out, but then he would get back to stealing. He did rugs. He would shoot up. You know, before he died, he was in the bathroom and his coworker found him. I don't know if it was a drug overdose. I don't know what happened. They did an autopsy, but I don't know if they got the results back. My biological mom and stepfather did come to the funeral. And I saw my biological dad's, grandma and grandpa. And Brian's sister, Christina. She's still alive. When your dad where'd your dad family in your life? What? Where's your dad? You mean my grandpa? Yeah, I don't know. I could always reach out to them and ask. Are you talking about my grandma or grandpa? Why did the hug comment? Where's your bio dad's family in your life? So when my dad was alive, my Grandpa Klein, he was a musician, and I remember going over to his place. They had a piano. He taught me how. He bought me a flute, and he bought Danny a trumpet. And I remember going down there, going to the house, going downstairs. Grandpa Klein had two tables, a chair and a table for me and Danny. And we had a little stand, and we had little music books. And so my grandpa taught me and Danny music. And I really think that that's where it came from, is Brian's family. It's where I got my voice. I remember my dad saw my videos on YouTube, and he's like, Gabby, you should go on Dancing with the Stars. You'd be so good at it. I was like, thanks, yeah. My dad, I do remember my dad always saying, Gabby, you're my beautiful daughter. Like, you're so gorgeous, and you're mine. Okay, I felt weird, but I don't know. And then, and here's why I was kind of pissed off, because he kind of made Danny do rugs. Like, hey, you want to do it? And I'm like, why would you pull her in for that? And I was like, are you kidding me? Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it? Have you done it? I'm like, no. Once an addict is always an addict. And I hate it. It's like they pick and choose drugs over your own kids. It's just so wrong. Threatening messages last night due to supporting you. Message me. Show me the screenshots. I'm sorry. Just block them and just send me it. I'll take care of it. Sorry they did that to you. It is a disease. I heard you, and I don't know if I have a picture. Danny needs to pull up the letters. If she's on live, ask her about my dad and the letters. She should read them to you guys. I hope to pray that she still has them. I did block. Okay, good. Do you talk to her? Yeah, she was over here a couple days ago. She held my bearded dragon. Got all the letters. I was kind of pissed. But I think I was more attached and I had a better relationship with my bio mom than Danny had a better relationship with my bio dad. Yeah. Which, Danny looks like Brian. Oh, man. You want to see a picture of my dad? I'll show you a picture of my dad. You're gonna think that he looks like my sister. I gotta charge my phone. People think that I look like my bio mom. Do you have one of your mom and one of your dad? I do. When my phone goes on, I can show you my dad. But yeah, I think I was 4 years old, and me and Danny, we went to go see my biological dad in prison, and I remember he had an orange jumpsuit on, and he had blonde hair. I have the memories in my head. I do believe that he truly loved us. I think he just made some really dumb decisions. Like, I'll never understand, like, why lay in bed and think that nothing could happen? And then you just do stupid shit. I don't get it. Did your bio mom have more? Yeah, so my biological mom married my stepdad, Lorenzo, and they had 3 kids of their own. They always hated me because I was like, you'd never call Lisa mom. You always call her Lisa. She's your mom. Why don't you ever do that? Well, because Mimi's my mom. Just because she had me doesn't make her a mother. She didn't raise me. She didn't clothe me. She didn't teach me. She didn't nurture me. She wasn't there for me. Mimi was. She gets the praise, not Lisa. I was like, you can hate me all you want. At least she kept you. Are you close to my other siblings? No. They were 16-bit, but it also doesn't excuse anything. If they can lay in bed, then the fuck? Then don't have sex. I don't care how the fuck old you are. You're not that dumb. It's all fun and games until it actually becomes more serious. And then people just, dip out? Yeah, okay. Do you think they did that knowing you had a better life? How'd your dad pass away? I don't know. I think drugs. I think he was on his way here to Chicago. But I don't really know. Here, I'll show you a picture of my biological. You too? I don't know. Okay, let me show you my biological dad. He looks a lot like Cameron looks like his dad. My dad, sorry. Brian Klein. Let's see, people. Did I spell his name right? Brian Klein. There it is. Okay, here it is. Ready? Hold on. Is there more photos of him? No, that's it. Okay, ready? So that's my biological dad. You look just like him. You look like him. I do? Okay, let me show you my biological mom. So this was us. So those are the three, my half siblings, 2 half brothers, and a half sister. We were 21 at the time. There was us again. Wow, you look so much like him. And then this is my mom. That's my bio mom. I look like her? You look more like your dad. The blonde. I look more like my dad? Really? Ugh. Okay, ready? And then this is Mimi. She's 72, and look how fucking good she looks like. I fucking love her. Like, Mom, you are a... Let's see. So this was just recently when they were down here. So that's my mom and her. Yeah, hold on. Here, that's my mom. So that's Mimi. That's my grandma that raised me. And that's Jen, my aunt. Here. And then my dad, thank you. That's my dad. I know, my mom does look younger. Thank you. I do come from a very, very beautiful, so this is Felicia. She died on Felicia. She passed away a couple years ago. She was in Chicago, and she had a rug problem, but she was with some friends in a hotel, and they gave her fentanyl, and she didn't know it was fentanyl, and it was a PILL, and she died. She was foamy at the mouth. So she passed away. She was a beautiful, a lot of people think that she looked like me, or she looks like me. She was very beautiful. I mean, she was stunning. So that's my cousin. She's very pretty. You guys look alike. That's my cousin. I come from a very, I will say it. I come from, we have really good looking people. Let me just tell you. You should see my entire family. But she was in a hotel, Chicago. I think she just got out of prison. She has two daughters. But anyway, it was noted that she took something that someone gave her that day or that night, and it had fentanyl in it, and she passed away. And she was foamy at the mouth, and they found her in the bathroom. So yeah, very, very sad. So she's no longer with us either. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Oh, okay, sounds good. And then I'll show you my grandpa. Let me see if my grandpa's on here. Yeah, he is. And that's my grandpa. Hi. Thank you. This was so in my book. So in my book, was that your dad? That's my grandpa. So in my book, I talk about my dog and two cats, and that's Bella. My dad took my dog. He's in Texas. I remember we would go to church every Sunday, and I would not wake up, and my dad would come in with water, and he would just pour it on me and say, "Wake up." Cute fur baby. What is your cat's name? It was Dolce & Gabbana. All of this is in my book. So, and I can talk about it if you guys have any questions about it. It was very, very sad. I had no choice because when Aaron left me in Illinois when he was 6 months old, I had nobody to watch my animals, and Lisa said no to the cats. Well, I guess Lorenzo did. And I begged my biological mom. I said, please, Lisa, please, I need my dog. I need my dog. And she said, Gabby, you can take her, but she needs to go somewhere. And so I was like, and I had her for like 10 years. That was my baby girl, ride or die. I love Bella. And I miss her so much. But I remember having to talk to my dad, and I'm like, I'll pay for it. I will get her shots, blood work, everything that she needs so that you're all set, everything. And so I remember going to Tina's to have them drop off, because Tina and Joe were going to visit my dad anyway, and so they booked a flight, and we got Bella, we took her to the vet, we got the whole certificate thing, and it was that night that I was in Tina's home with my dog, the last time that I was going to see her. And then they took her and they put her on the plane, and then she got with my dad in Texas. And then my 2 cats, I had to give them, no one would take my 2 cats, so I gave them to a Facebook people. That was a bad decision because a couple days, they said Gabbana died. And they said something about, I think he got into my roommate's pill container. I was like, what? But then and I don't really know what fucking happened. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that they said that they rushed her to the hospital and then she died. And they still had Dolce. And Dolce was still alive. Then they traded Dolce to somebody else, and Dolce was in a like a home, but no one was there because she was in the hospital. So I reached out to her. I'm like, where is Dolce? If you can't find anyone to, I'm like, does she have food? Does she have water? Does she have, is there lights on? And so I found the house that Dolce was in, and I called animal control, and I called the landlord, and I said, open that door. That's my cat, and I need to know if it's okay. And they said I can't do it unless I have a warrant. And so I'm like, can you see anything? And so I contacted the girl that had Dolce, and that was their home. And I said, what is going on? Do you have my cat? She's like, yeah. I'm like, where are you? In the hospital. I'm like, okay. Is my cat being taken care of? And she's like, yeah. There's like 5 other cats in there, and she's fine. I'm like, yeah, if she's fucking fine, she better be. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, I would like a picture or somebody to go over there and check up on her, please. And she was like, okay. I'm like, I'm really good with cats, and I'm a cat lady. I'm like, okay. So then she goes back to the house or whatever the next day, and she sends me a picture, and then she had to give Dolce up to another lady, and I was like, what's her name, and I need to talk to her. So they gave me her number. It was on Facebook, and she was decent. We FaceTimed. She showed me Dolce. She looked healthy. I was comfortable with her, and she was like, I got her. She goes, we're gonna take her to the vet tomorrow. And so I'm like, thank you for taking care of her. And I never really heard back from her, but I felt better that she was there. I mean, Dolce looked fine. So yeah, that was traumatizing. Man, those memories. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, you're telling me. Hi. Dude, these memories are just fucking... It's like replaying the back of my head. I remember when Aaron left me, when Cameron was 6 months old. I remember moving. Cameron went to bed. Aaron took the computer. I mean, he took everything from me. No TV. And he left me with nothing. And he said it because he was scared. He said, I left you because I was scared. I was like, that was your fucking reason. Got it. I'm like, what do you think I did? I had no job. So I remember telling the landlord, I'm like, I told him the situation. I'm sorry, but I don't have any money for rent. I went to churches. I went to a food bank where they helped me with formula. And have you ever tried? I have not, no. And then what else happened? And it's, that fight was nothing. That argument, the day that he left. So it was in Danny's bedroom, because we were all living together in Itasca. And I had either a broken leg or my arm was in a cast, I can't remember. But Cameron was crawling, and there was cords. I think it was my leg. And I'm like, I was sitting in a chair, and he was rolling it up, and Cameron was going towards the cords. And I said, Aaron, get him. I don't want him by that. And I couldn't pick him up. And he got really mad, and he was like, he said, F you, I'm done, screw this. And he started throwing stuff, and he packed his bags. And I begged him to stay. I got on my hands and knees, and I said, what can I do? Please stay. We had a lot of issues with the apartment and Danny, and there was lots of arguments and back and forth. And so he just took the TV. I had nothing. And I had to find a job. I packed the entire apartment by myself. I took him, got in the car, went to a place that gives away free boxes. I went there. Mind you, this was like 3 flights of stairs. It was tough. And then that's when I'm like, I need a place to go. That's when my family came down to help me. And they threw away whatever Aaron's stuff was in that apartment, they just threw in the freaking dumpster. All of his games, all of it. Aaron was pissed. But my family's like, you fucking did this to Gabby. My family didn't give a shit. My family was like, fuck you, Aaron. Oh, they were so mad at Aaron. Especially Mimi. She cussed him out big time. And then he got mad at me because somehow he knew that I was going to Florida. He's like, you don't have my permission. I'm like, I don't have your permission. I'm like, you're the one that fucking left me. Go, like, I was so pissed. I was like, I don't owe you nothing. The fuck? You don't give me any money for rent. You don't give me any child support. All he cared about was his stupid race track and his guy friends. I was so pissed off at him that day. And I blocked his number, and I said, take me to court. I said, don't contact me. So I blocked his number, and I went to live with my mom in went to live with my biological mom, and then that happened with my stepdad. And then I had my dog there. My dad, then I told about that. Then I told my mom that I was hurt. I was crying. I was hurt. I felt scared, alone, betrayed. And I just told my mom, I said, my mom goes, Gabby, do you want to come on vacation with me? And I said, yeah. She goes, I'm going to fly you down here and you can spend the week with me. I said, okay. So I packed my bags, got Cameron ready, got on the airport, and flew down to my mom. And then that's when my mom said, Gabby, do you want to go back with Lisa or do you want to go back with somebody else? So I texted Lisa and I said, I'm sorry, Lisa, I can't go back and live with you. And I picked Tina. So I went back home and I had to travel with Cam to my biological mom's house, pack everything that I brought over from Illinois, and then, from the Itasca apartment. Then I had to travel all the way back to Tina, and I had to organize everything. I had a work from home job. And then Tina was very strict. She had a schedule on a paper and said 7 o'clock. She was a teacher. And she was like, your son's not going to dictate my schedule, and you're going to follow these rules. And she would discipline Cam, and I'm like, you are not his mother. I said, back off. I said, just because. I was so pissed. I'm like, you don't get to discipline my son. I'm like, I'm his mother. You are not. She would tell me how to feed him, how to dress him. And I said, I can't do this. I said, and then I would be working from home. I remember this. She was downstairs and I came out for just a second. And she's like, get back in that room. Are you done working? Then get back in that room. And I was like, what? Like, it was so strict, like she was my mom. And I was like, no, I'm done. So I packed up and I went to Laura's. And that was a trouble. I remember, no, I didn't go to Laura's yet. I went to a hotel. And that's when I was starting to text Aaron. We weren't together. But then Aaron said, we were just kind of talking. I don't know. And then he came over. I'm like, I need your help. And he helped me to get everything over to the it is in my book, into the hotel. And I was working from home, and I remember sitting there. And I said, I need your help. I said, I am a single mom, thanks to you. I said, you don't give me any money for help. I had to go from my mom's to Florida to Tina's, doing everything by myself, trying to figure it all out. And I'm like, I need your help. And Aaron didn't say he wanted to get back with me. He was like, I can't really remember detail about what happened. All I can remember is we were at that hotel and he was kind of helping me with Cam. I was still working from home. And then I went to Laura's because I couldn't afford it. And then I remember bringing all my work equipment to Laura's house in a basement. It was cold. We had a blow-up mattress. It was right by the garage. It was so cold. It was a very hard mattress. It was not comfortable. And I had to store all my little work. This was the mattress. It was very, very tiny room. And all of my stuff and the dresser that's inside the closet. And then Zach and Cam were not it was bad. They were fighting, biting, kicking. They would both have bruises. Zach, Cameron, Zach took a vacuum thing and whacked his head, and had a really big bruise, and it was bulging, it stuck out. And it was just nonstop. And I remember I just took Cameron multiple times every day. When it got too much, I couldn't even go upstairs. It was just too much. It was bad. I'm like, this is just not working out. And I said, maybe we should just go to counseling and get these kids like where they can, whatever. And so cops.
Chloe.
Shh. Hello? Yeah. I don't even know who's at the door. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll double check.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. I mean, there's no knock again. I don't fucking know. Yeah, it's the police.